Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it, and we're hoping we can give you lots of good tips on selling Whistler so you can sell with more confidence and be able to close that sale. So before I get started, I just wanted to bring your attention to the website on the screen on the left side that says www.trade.whistler.com. That's our Tourism Whistler travel trade website. It's a great resource for printable information, flat sheets, maps, anything you kind of need on Whistler, so please feel free to check that out. So my name's Afton. I work for Tourism Whistler as a representative for the Market Development Travel Trade Department. I've been in Whistler for about this is my 6th season. Kind of typical story, I came to Whistler for 6 months and stayed for the summer, realized how amazing the summer was, and yeah, have not left, and now bought a house here, so I'm not going anywhere. I'd like to introduce my colleague, Michelle Dane.
Hi guys. I'm going to apologize up front. I've got a bit of a cold, and so if I start coughing uncontrollably, I'll apologize ahead of time. But yeah, my name's Michelle Dane, and I'm Sales Account Manager Asia Pacific with Whistler Blackcomb. My story is very similar to Afton's, but I've been here since '95. So over 20 years, I came for 1 season and ended up staying as well. So I think you guys probably have an idea of how amazing it is to live here as well as visit here. So yeah, I'll pass it back to Afton for a minute.
Perfect. So where we're located, we're really easy to get to. There's lots of direct flights coming out of Australia. So once you make your way to Vancouver, we're only about 2 hours up north. Really easy to get to along the beautiful Sea to Sky Highway. No matter kind of what your clients are looking for transfers, we definitely have you covered. We have buses that regularly go in between Vancouver Airport and Whistler, as well as downtown Vancouver, and they'll drop you off right at your accommodation, right at the front door, which is great. There's also private transfers. If guests are looking more for a customized tour, we have that as well. And if they're looking for something extra special in the summer, there is a float plane that goes between downtown Vancouver right up to Whistler, so it's a pretty spectacular journey. Then you get up to beautiful Whistler. So just to kind of get your surroundings here, on the right-hand side, that's Whistler Mountain. The left-hand side is Blackcomb Mountain, peak-to-peak gondola connecting the both, and Whistler Village right smack down in the bottom of that. And beautiful Whistler Village, so we have 200 shops and 90 restaurants among this amazing colonial pedestrian-style village. And scattered all around there is the accommodation. So everything's in really close walking distance. And for accommodation, we have everything, you know, from our brand name hotels like Hilton, Fairmont, Westin. We have boutique hotels, condos, so really have whatever your guests are looking for. And one question one remark I always get when people are visiting Whistler is, I'm surprised at how easy and how short of a walk things are. And just to kind of give you an idea, from the base of Whistler Mountain, which is right here, to the other end of the Village Stroll, which is the Olympic Rings, that's only about a 10-minute walk. So it's really easy to get to. And same with the Upper Village, which is at the base of Blackcomb Mountain, so that's your Four Seasons Fairmont properties. That's only about a 10-minute walk as well. And if your guests are coming in the winter and don't want to walk in their ski boots, which I don't blame them, there are shuttle services that rotate between the village, so it's really easy to get around. And yeah, like I mentioned, we're a beautiful ski and ski out destination. And speaking of skiing, I'm going to pass it over to Michelle.
Okay, I'm back, and hopefully my voice stays with me throughout the presentation. So as I said, I work for Whistler Blackcomb. Here is a sort of a similar map that Afton just showed, or a picture, that shows our 3 base areas. So the Upper Village, Whistler Village, and then Creekside. And of course, this is where the peak-to-peak runs from top of Blackcomb Mountain to Whistler. And it's 3 base areas, depending on where the guests are staying. Each has lift access, rentals, as well as ski school locations. So it doesn't matter where you're staying, you will be taken care of for whatever your needs are. Here's a nice snowy shot one morning showing the Blackcomb gondola that goes right from the village. So all these people are walking in the pedestrian stroll and hopping on the gondola to go up to Blackcomb, and about, I don't know, 30 feet away from that is the gondola that takes you up to Whistler Village. So everything's really close. One thing that we are well known for as well as love is the snow around here. So here's just a little bit of a chart to give you an idea of how much snow we get. Every month you will see here a lot of early snow to start the season off right, and then March actually tends to be on average our snowiest month, so that allows us to continue all the way through April as well as May. And this is how we measure up to some of the other large resorts in North America. The snowflakes represent the average snowfall, where the gray bar actually represents the skiable terrain. So you can see that in both of those categories, we are at the top of that list. A little bit of bragging rights there. And then when it comes to snow, of course, our snowmaking and grooming are second to none. We get lots of natural snow, which is combined with state-of-the-art snowmaking. Concentrate the snowmaking on key areas like the ski outs down into the village to get the skiing going at the beginning of the season, as well as maintaining the terrain throughout the spring. One thing to note, too, is that our grooming happens at night. There are some resorts where you'll see the snowcats grooming during the day. However, we've got such a big fleet that we're able to groom everything and have it open and ready for everybody to ski in the morning. There's also grooming maps. So we have so much terrain that not all hills are actually groomed every night. So at the top of most of the big chairlifts, you can see a grooming list with little check marks beside the main hills that have been groomed, so you know where to go for the good groomers or the bumps. Terrain. As we were talking about, we've got Whistler and Blackcomb Mountain, where it is the most skiable terrain in North America at over 8,000 hectares, which includes over 200 runs and 37 lifts. Guests can ski off-piste, so this is a little bit different than a lot of European resorts. You could ski anywhere within the ski area boundary as long as the runs aren't closed, or you can't ski in permanently closed areas, all of which are very clearly marked, so you don't have to worry about wandering into places that you shouldn't be. And like this picture, you could see there's lots of tree screening as well as great graded runs. And then we get into the alpine with this shot. You could see Whistler Blackcomb offers a mix of terrain, a wide variety, and it's not just for experts. So we've got big mountain skiing in the high alpine, in the powder bowls, graded trees, and then the cruisy groomers and family zones in the mountain play areas. And so we would say approximately 70 to 75% of our terrain is actually rated beginner and intermediate. So as much as we are known for our extreme skiing, we have great areas for people to learn how to ski as well. And then, of course, the famous peak-to-peak gondola, which actually breaks 3 world records. The first of those being it is the longest unsupported span at just over 3 kilometers. It's the highest lift of its type at 436 meters off the ground, and it's the longest continuous lift system. So this also offers a great thing. I mean, most people that would come in the winter are skiers, but in some families, you know, not everybody's a skier. So this offers a great way to get up into the mountain from a sightseeing standpoint to explore the alpine if you're not skiing as well. And then here's a shot of some people hanging out in the alpine, probably around the spring when it warms up a little bit, the sun shines out. Sorry, Shan, the first fact about the peak-to-peak gondola. It is the longest unsupported span at just over 3 kilometers. So what that is there's only 4 towers in the peak-to-peak, And between the second and third is the longest area. It's actually 3 kilometers between each tower. I hope that answered your question. If not, we can go through some more questions at the end. Thanks, Shannon. And of course, rentals. We have an immense amount of rental options for everybody. One key thing is that all of our rentals are brand new each year in all of our shops. We have 9 locations, including many flagship hotels. So the Westin, the Pan Pacific, the Fairmont, and the Four Seasons all have their own independent shops, as well as a number of other ones scattered throughout the village. We offer sport, high performance, as well as demo category rentals. And if people go for the high-end demo, we do have 2 demo tents at the top of the mountain. So if you take a couple runs on the newest and greatest ski, and then you want to try the next newest and greatest, you could just pop into the tent and switch them out for you. They will switch them out for you up there. One tip that we like to give retail and wholesalers is that when you're checking it or when you're booking for your guests, a tip to give them is when they arrive into resort on their first day, we suggest they go into the rental locations and get their rental sorted the night before so they don't have to rumble around and get it all sorted the first day of skiing. Most of our rental locations in the winter are open until 8 or 9 at night. And then finally, I'll get into our world-class snow school. For adult lessons, we have lessons that are built to suit every ability. They're group lessons, small group sizes with maximum of 4 people per instructor. So a really great instructor-student ratio. Of course, we offer private lessons that you can book your own guide for the day. And for anybody that speaks a different language, you can request an instructor who speaks any other language. The one thing to note about private lessons is you can have up to 4 people of the same ability in per instructor. And one of our biggest messages for ski school is to book early, because January, Christmas, Easter, our adult as well as children's lessons will book up, which is one great thing about the Aussie market, because everybody likes to book a lot earlier than most, but it is a good thing to keep in mind. This past season, we did a massive expansion to our adult beginner area. So $2.4 million was spent to improve the area, which includes 2 new covered carpets in the Olympic learning area, 32 new low-energy snow guns for the Olympic zone, as well as 13 new low-energy snow guns for the Blackcomb base. So you're assured to have really great snow conditions when you get into our learning areas. And finally, one of our most popular options for adults are the camp, which starts on Mondays, and you can do either 3 or 4 days of coaching with the same instructor. And in these camps, there's an average of 6 guests per group, and these are for the more experienced level 3 to 6 skiers only. As with all of our snow school lessons, as long as you're with an instructor, you get lift line priority. So that means as long as you're in the line, your instructor's right there, there's no waiting in lines, which can be key on our busy weekends or Christmas seasons. And finally, one other option that the Australian markets love is our Extremely Canadian. They're steep clinics. So these are for more experienced skiers. They're 2-day clinics that start on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And they're for level 4 to 6 skiers who are really looking to push their boundaries and explore some new terrain they wouldn't usually have access to. So some of the main benefits are obviously improving your off-piste technique and being able to check out the chutes, the couloirs, the bowls, trees, and steeps that Whistler Blackcomb is famous for. A typical day would be doing 1 day on Whistler and then the next day on Blackcomb. And then day 1, you get to go for an après-ski with anybody else that did an Extremely Canadian clinic, as well as your instructors. Everybody gets a pretty cool T-shirt, And with Extremely Canadian, you obviously get your lift line priority as well. And another thing to note is your instructors, or the coaches they call them with Extremely Canadian, are world-renowned. Some of these guys are the best skiers in the world. Like this one right here is Wendy Brookbank, who has been in lots of the Warren Miller films, and a lot of the other instructors are definitely the best in the business. Finally, the kids' lessons. The most popular programs we have are the 3- and 5-day adventure camps. And these camps, they start on Mondays. Again, like the adults, it's the same instructor and same group of kids. Excuse me. Kids can join the ski program at age 3, and of course snowboard programs as well. And we do have the child care or creche for toddlers aged 18 to 48 months. These instructors are also specifically hired for the ones that are great working with kids. Really fun, really animated, so awesome programs. And one more element to these programs are the Flake program. So each kid and instructor is outfitted with a GPS that's attached to their leg. So parents can get the tracking number from the instructor at the end of the day, go onto the website where they could see all of the runs they've done, follow their daily activities, and have great chats with the kids on what they've experienced, as well as how fast they've skied, which is always a big one. This is one of our special kids areas on Whistler Mountain. This is a tree fort, and of course there's one over on the Blackcomb side, which is more of a castle. So there is slides and all sorts of fun activities that kids can just go into the forest and experience. Of course, adults are welcome too, either to participate or just supervise. Here's a cute shot of some of our snowboard programs, and this is one of our new covered magic carpets at Midstation. One thing to note is kids' snowboard lessons only depart from the village or the creek, so these are not available at Blackcomb, but most of our kids' programs run from the village. And finally, for our teens, we have the Ride Tribe program. So these are for ages 13 to 18, and they depart from the village location only. Really cool, hip instructors that make, you know, the teenage experience super fun. And then for my favorite is the heli skiing, something that should be on anybody's bucket list. So Whistler heli skiing has the advantage of a resort-based heli ski operation. So you don't have to actually fly into a remote heli ski lodge. Instead, guests can leave right here from the village, go up and do either one of 3 different packages, classic, elite, or ultimate excursion, so 3, 4, or 5 runs. And then they would be back in the village by the end of the day. So if there's a couple people in a group that wanted to go heli skiing, the rest stayed on mountain, they can go off and do their thing and then be back in the village in time for après. Another tip for heli skiing for your guests is if they're interested in doing a heli ski day or a couple days, I would book them in at the beginning of their stay to Whistler, so that they can go in and talk to the people at the heli ski office, just in case of there's a no-fly day because of weather, or if they see there's some really good snow coming a few days into their trip, they have the flexibility of potentially being able to switch around their day to get the best possible heli ski day in. Fresh Tracks, this is a great way to get up early. You go up the Whistler Village gondola, have a great buffet breakfast, and then as soon as the ski patrolists have given the all clear, you have the first crack at the mountain. This is a first come, first serve experience. So there's 650 people that can go up every morning. Even though that sounds like a lot of people, on a powder day, we suggest you to get there really early, because you get a lot more than 650 people that want to get up there to experience Fresh Tracks. Tube Park is a great family option. 7 lanes of fast, as well as some slower ones for some of the littler kids. Magic Carpet gets them up to the top, so you don't have to walk all the way up. this is a perfect day off activity, or anything that can be après-ski as well, because it's open till around 7 in the evening, so you can ski, have a break, and then go up and do a 1 hour or 2 hour to park with friends and family. Here's a bit of an aerial shot. You can see the tube park lit up right there. It can be accessed by just going up the Blackcomb Gondola right from the village. It's only about a 5-minute ride up, and it's a free access to get up there, so you don't need your ski pass. You could just go up. And finally, on our on-mountain dining options, we have 17, or I think we just added another one, 18 options on mountain as well as at the bottom. Everything from little log cabins at the top of the high alpine, and then large lodges at the top of both mountains, as well as 3 après locations down in the village. So the food ranges from your typical burgers, fries, pizzas. There's one little girl up there enjoying her waffles, which are famous at the Crystal Hut. But there's all sorts of different things to appease your different palates. So gluten-free, vegetarian, Asian-inspired cuisine. We've got a lot of options that will suit everybody up there. And finally, I'm just going to talk quickly about summer. As Afton and I said, you sort of come for the ski season and don't realize how incredible Whistler is in the summer. Here's a shot of our peak-to-peak gondola, which is the top tourist sightsee activity in Whistler in the summer. And then finally, our snow walls. So in May, at the end of May, beginning of June, these are up in the Alpine. They actually carve out a certain amount of walkway where you can walk between 20-foot walls on either side. It's really quite something to see. And then the Alpine hiking, we have over 50 kilometers of hiking trails up in the Alpine in Whistler, on Whistler as well as Blackcomb Mountain. Everything from easy, breezy, cruisy trails to more adventurous and expert hiking terrain, running and interpretive walks, as well as glacier walk experience with alpine guides. This picture I had to throw in here. It's one of my favorite hikes on top of Whistler. You go all the way up the peak chair, and it's about a 3 to 4 hour hike, and that is Cheakamus Lake down below. It's called High Note Trail. Something I suggest for everybody to try if you're up for it. And then towards the end of summer is when all the snow's gone and the alpine flowers come out. Sorry, I'll get back to that after. Alpine flowers are late June through July and August. And this is our geology tour that we started last year. So you learn about the geology and ecology of Whistler's key geological milestones. So highlighting the flora, the fauna, and effects of climate change that we've been experiencing over the last many years. Finally, the world famous bike park. So open mid-May through mid-October with more than 60 chairlift access trails to choose from. So it's adventures for every level of rider, from somebody that's never been on a bike, downhill bike, to the most experienced tricks and crazy stuff that they do up there. We also obviously offer bike rentals for the top-of-the-line downhill bikes, and there's classes you can take, Bike Park 101, intro clinics, as well as kids camps and summer programs. And our famous bears. So we have over 60 black bears in the Whistler Valley. So we run tours between the middle of May through the end of October, guided by local environmental specialists, teaching about bear ecology. You actually get into their trucks and cruise around to places where bears are often spotted early morning, and then later on in the afternoons, they talk about the dens, how they hibernate throughout the winter. It's a really interesting tour to go on. It's a 3-hour tour. Finally, our mountaintop barbecue. So if you're in town on either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday nights, you can go up the peak-to-peak gondola, do some sightseeing, go for a hike, and then come back to the Roundhouse and enjoy a mountaintop barbecue as the sun sets over the mountains. So these run end of June to the end of August. And that's all I've got. So I'm going to hand it back over to Afton, and we'll answer any questions afterwards.
Perfect. Thank you, Michelle. All right. So, like I mentioned before, we have tons of restaurants and bars in Whistler, so lots to choose from and something for everyone and for all budgets. We have, Mexican, Japanese, Italian, American. If your guests are really on a budget, we even have a restaurant called El's Furniture that everything on the menu is $5. It's actually pretty decent. One of my personal favorite experiences is the Kettle One Vodka Ice Room that's located in the Barefoot Bistro. It's the coldest ice room in the world, sitting at minus 32 degrees Celsius. And you get these really trendy jackets that you get to wear to shoot some vodka from all over the world. It actually tastes pretty good. They say it gets rid of the ethanol taste if it's like that cold of temperature, but I don't know. You'll have to be the judge of that. I'm still not convinced. For some local secrets, take advantage of the amazing happy hour specials that they have on everywhere. And also, if your guests are coming in May, it's an amazing time to visit because there's such great deals going on at most of the restaurants. So for instance, one of our top restaurants in town, Araxi, 5-star restaurant, does like 5 courses for $35. So really great value there. And if your guests just can't decide, I would highly recommend a Whistler tasting tour. It's a Canadian signature experience, and they offer 2 tours. They have the Hidden Gems tour, which is more kind of local favorites, and the Finer Things tour, which is all the high-end restaurants. So you get to savor some champagne at the Barefoot Bistro, enjoy some Italian at Quattro's, so it really gives you a good variety of restaurants in Whistler. So we have tons of different activities, everything from mild to wild, to offer your guests. So whatever time of year they're visiting, there's always lots going on. So right now in the picture, that's what the skating rink looks like. It's free for anybody to use and only $5 to get some skates. There's dog sledding, another really popular activity, but this does book up, so I would recommend booking in advance for your guests. We also have great snowmobiling tours in the winter, everything from, your more intermediate advanced right down kind of to your beginner, and there's even family tours that the little kids can rip around on these little tiny snowmobiles. Crystal Hut Fondue is one of my favorite activities to do in Whistler. I actually just did it last week, and it was amazing. So you snowmobile up, or you can also take the cat ski up and get to enjoy this amazing fondue dinner at the top of Crystal Hut. If your guests are looking for a very unique experience New Year's Eve, they do this tour, and if you're in the second seating, you get a ring in the New Year up there, watch the fireworks, and enjoy a glass of champagne. So again, books up, so highly recommend pre-booking that. Snowshoeing tours, so we do tours, and you can also, if you're an avid snowshoer, there are just self-walks you can do, so you can just rent some snowshoes at Lost Lake or in Olympic Park, which is about 15 minutes south of Whistler, so a great mild activity there. We also have sleigh ride tours, which I know is very popular with the Australian market in the winter. These do run for evening tours, so it is an opportunity once you're finished skiing to enjoy that tour as well. Because we hosted the 2010 Winter Olympics, we have an amazing sliding center track. So guests can do the bobsled in the summer or the winter, and in the winter they also offer skeleton. So for those real adventure seekers wanting to check something off their bucket list, I'd highly recommend that. And we offer ziplining tours in the summer and the winter. One really unique tour I think that is offered is the Twilight Tour. So again, it's something you can do after your guests have been skiing for the day, and they set you up with a torch. All the boardwalks and trees are all covered around in beautiful fairy lights. And then Headline, for those guests that are really luxury, looking for a really high-end experience, Headline does these amazing tours that they take guests up in the helicopter to the Pemberton Ice Cap, where they can explore these amazing ice caves. They also offer tours in the summer as well to hot springs. And like Michelle mentioned, we have tons of alpine hiking, as well as in the valley we have tons of sightseeing and hiking available for all ages and ability levels. And like I mentioned, ziplining is also a great activity in the summertime, and Whistler actually features the Sasquatch, which is the longest line in North America, not for the faint of heart. It's pretty incredible. You get going up to 100 kilometers an hour. But what I really loved about this tour is because you're in the air for so long, you start with adrenaline pumping, and then you're still up there, so you can really enjoy your surroundings and check out the valley below. So personally, one of my favorite tours as well. Razor tours, this is a great alternative to an ATV tour. I really love this one because the passengers can see just as much as the driver does, whereas with the ATV, sometimes it gets lost a little bit on the passenger with them being behind you. And Valley Trail in Whistler, we have over 40 kilometers of paved pedestrian that links to golf courses, beaches, lakes, and just a really great opportunity to get you just a little bit outside of the village and into nature. It's also a great opportunity to see some wildlife, perhaps, as most of the ski rental properties, ski rental shops turn into bike rentals. It's really easy for you to just rent a bike for a day and go exploring. And we have 4 amazing golf courses here, 3 right in Whistler, 1 up in Pemberton, about 20 minutes away. Also, local tip, I think the most beautiful patios that you can enjoy a beverage on are surrounded by golf courses. We have amazing lakes and beaches, and with the really long summer days, it's great to get out and explore them. Some lakes are warmer than others, but definitely if you go out on a July, August, even September day, you'll see tons of people in the water and laying around on the beach. And we have great relaxation spas. This is the Scandinav Spa, which is an amazing experience both in the summer and the winter time. It features hot baths, cold baths, sauna, steam room, relaxation rooms. They actually last year just renovated and actually extended and put in more of these experiences. So guests can either buy the bath experience that includes just baths, or if you get a massage there, the baths are included. And another great Canadian signature experience is the Squamish Lillooet Cultural Center. It features lots of cool exhibits, the video. They have free tours going every hour on the hour while they're open. And another new addition, very unlikely in a ski destination, is a world-class art museum, but that's what we have. The Audain Art Museum features one of the largest collections of Aboriginal masks, and has a wide variety of British Columbia artwork. And we have tons of festivals and events happening all year round. So some of the big ones in winter are the Fire and Ice Show that happens every Sunday. There's the World Ski and Snowboard Festival that happens in April, also a great time to visit. And in the summer, we always have, outdoor free concerts, crankworks, everything kind of in between. So I know we just went over a ton of information with you all, but if you can just remember these few points, why send your guests to Whistler? Well, we're a world-class year-round resort. We're family-friendly. We have activities for everyone. We have a great pedestrian village and tons going on. So with that, I'm going to hand you over to Charlie for some question and answers.
Thank you, ladies, so much. Such a fantastic presentation. There really is so much to do in Whistler, and I'm here for a couple of weeks, and I don't think I'm going to get through all of that. Plus, got to come back in the summer to do all those fantastic summer activities as well. So thank you. Hopefully you guys aren't overloaded with information, but just as Afton said, just know there's so much to do here, lots of reasons to come. I will open the floor for questions now, so any questions, just type them into the chat box, and I will ask you. So I have got a few in here. Let's just go back. Shannon wanted to know, what are the kids' ages for the adventure camps, the 3 and 5 days? So that question's for Michelle.
Well, the kids can start ski school programs, like the skiing at 3 years old and the snowboarding at 4.
Awesome, thank you. And what's the top ages for that?
They go all the way up to 18.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they go, there's between 12 or 13 and 18, it's actually the Ride Try program, but there's lessons, there's all sorts of different things for all ages.
Lovely, thank you. Also, the alpine hiking. What was your favorite trail, Afton? What was the name of that trail again?
No, it was sorry, it's also my nose. I can't speak properly. It's the High Note Trail off the top of the peak chair. High Note, H-I-G-H, yeah.
Lost in the cold there. High Note.
High Note.
There you go, Shannon. Jody says, haha, Charlie might end up staying there like Afton and Michelle did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could happen, but I think, yeah, I'm going to have to go home at some point. Although, yeah, I could definitely stay a lot longer and stay to do some of that cool summer stuff. And just to reiterate, yeah, it's such a wonderful family destination. I have my toddler here, and we've tested out the daycare, and that was brilliant. I've also been on a women's camp. So yeah, definitely making the most of my time here. But of course, so it's great. Yeah, like I said, family friendly for those summer holiday periods when people are coming over in the winter. But also look at those people traveling without families, couples, looking at great times for them to come in between the school holidays and things. Because yeah, it's like Michelle said, there's lots of snow in March. We've had a heap of snow since we've been here, so March is definitely a good time to come skiing. And yeah, who else? What have we got here? Oh, Linda says, thank you, Charlie, Afton, and Michelle. I visited in the summer. Whistler is amazing. It's on my bucket list for winter. Thank you. Yes, Linda, you definitely have to get here in the winter. Jody says, how long was the bus drive from Vancouver to Whistler on the Sea to Sky?
Between 2 and 3 hours, depending on what time of year.
Okay.
From the airport.
From the airport, about 2, yeah, between 2 and 3 hours. Judy says, thanks, great information. Thanks, Judy. Shannon says, thanks, heaps. Okay, very informative webinar. Thanks, guys. Well, thank you all so much. I think that might be it for all the questions. So we'll sign off there. We'll just hang out on the line for a minute in case anybody does think of anything or wants to hang back and have a quick chat. But otherwise, we'll stop recording. So thank you all so much. Thanks, Afton and Michelle, for joining us today. And everybody, have a great day.
Thanks, you guys. And we look forward to seeing your guests in Whistler.